Carroll, bringing it forward. Thompson's making the run. Carroll hangs on to it though. Still Davy Carroll. Could go all the way here. Oh, what a goal!
I don't know what it is that makes me love you so. I only know I never wanna let you go. 'Cause you started something, don't you see? That ever since we met you had a hold on me. It happens to be true. I only wanna be with you.
Hello, I'm Phil Catchpole and welcome to Ringing the Blues, the official Wycombe Wanderers podcast. On this week's show, I walk the streets of North London looking for a game, as even Port Vale can do it on a cold Saturday afternoon in Stoke. Plus, Chairboys fan Darren Keeping joins us for Till Death Us Do Part. But first, let's head to Mexico City for the full Liga Juan results with Uri.
We are ringing the blues from Mexico City with a 15 centigrade degree temperature outside, doing fine for this winter. Here are the results for League One. It's me, Uri, by the way. So, Bristol Rovers 1, Blackpool 2, Burton Albion 2, Charlton Athletic 0, Exeter City 0, Cambridge United 0, Fleetwood Town 0, Portsmouth 1, Leyton Orient 1, Bolton Wanderers 0, Lincoln City 0, Derby County 0, Peterborough United 2, Shrewsbury Town 1, Wigan Athletic 1, Reading 0, and there are many matches that appear as PP. So I asked my friend Filiberto Cachapollos what does PP means, and I asked him if it was the initials for Peso Pluma, the very famous música mexicana artist that is breaking the charts in this day and age, or if it was postponed or pending to play. Well, it was postponed. So there are many postponed matches, many PPs in this week. So Cheltenham Town against Carlisle United, Oxford United versus Northampton Town, and Stevenage versus Barnsley. Finally, Port Vale versus Wycombe Wanderers. All are PP, Peso Pluma, postponed, pending to play. So Chairboy Spanish this week. Well, you know, the Chairboys game was postponed on Friday after an early pitch inspection. Port Vale can do it on a cold Saturday afternoon in Stoke. So Chairboy Spanish, an early pitch inspection. Inspection in Spanish is the same word, inspección. Early, temprano. Pitch, campo, as in field, campo. So Chairboy Spanish this week, an early pitch inspection. Una inspección temprana del campo. Hope this match is played soon. Back to England with my amigo Filiberto Cachapollos. Adiós.
Football plans getting mucked up by the weather all over the country. Wycombe Wanderers' trip to Port Vale called off the day before the game due to a frozen pitch. So, plan B for Ringing the Blues, Potters Bar Town versus Dulwich Hamlet in the Isthmian Premier. Subject to an 11 a.m. pitch inspection. Laurie Schaller, the goalkeeper on loan, is playing at Potters Bar. Hakan Hayrettin, the former Wycombe Wanderers midfielder from the 90s, is the manager of Dulwich Hamlet. And I think Anthony Jeffrey plays for them too. Either way, the game's off. It failed the 11 o'clock pitch inspection. So, plan C, Wingate and Finchley against Chatham Town. The top six clash in the Isthmian Premier. Ben Frempert, the former chairboy, playing at centre-back for Wingate and Finchley. That passed the 11 o'clock pitch inspection. Onto the game. Got to the bus stop. Fortunately, I checked just before getting on the bus, and the referee called it off at 2 p.m. because the pitch was starting to freeze up again, apparently, or something like that. Anyway, not to be beaten. Plan D, White Hart Lane. There's only one team that plays on White Hart Lane, and it's not Tottenham Hotspur. They play on the High Road. Haringey Borough versus Folkestone Invicta. Haringey struggling in the Isthmian Premier. I'm not sure if there's any Wycombe Wanderers links here. I'll find out when I get to the game. It's a 3G pitch. I'm walking down White Hart Lane now, so I'm really hopeful it's on because kick-off is in about 25 minutes. Anyway, game on, somewhere at least. Half time at Coles Park, Haringey Borough 0, Folkestone Invicta 0. Neither keeper with a save to make. You can see why Haringey are in the bottom 4 and Folkestone are at the bottom of mid-table. However, great atmosphere here. Crowd is buoyed by a lot of games being called off today. A few people like me heading here at the last minute. Decent little ground, cracking burger and a cup of tea before kick-off. Hopefully some goals in the second half to warm things up a bit. 3G pitch looks good. I bet they're glad they put that in. Right, half time at Coles Park, and look who I've bumped into. Hakan Hayrettin. Hacks, how you doing?
I'm good, yeah, really well. My local team, my game's called off, so plus we've got them next week, so I'll come to watch them.
Yeah, Dulwich Hamlet, you're the manager of. I was going
Yeah.
to come and see you as well. Called off at 11 o'clock this morning. I guess that's this time of year, and it always happens.
The pitches at this level, you're going to expect that, but obviously this is a 4G, and you know, they're great people here. Everybody here is a fantastic football club, and they always do whatever they do to get the game on, and obviously because it's 4G, but no, I'm glad to be here today, get out of the house.
How are things at Dulwich? You're climbing the table?
Yeah, good. It's a good club, massive potential, great support. Everybody's united there in what we're trying to do. I made a conscious decision this year to get rid of everybody at the start of the season and start again, and it's taken a little bit longer than what I anticipated, but slowly we're getting there. But you know, privileged to be managing the team.
Thinking of the playoffs?
Maybe, yeah. You know, I've just talked to my assistant here, and between us we've won about 8 or 9 leagues, so we find it difficult sometimes to understand the mentality of certain people at the level, but the players have given me everything they've got and they've been fantastic, and we're slowly but surely grinding out results. And you know, when you've got 3,000 plus supporters behind you, you can't go wrong, can you?
Absolutely. And there's some players at this level, isn't there?
Yeah, some really good players, and there's 1 or 2 here as well. I've got my eye on. So yeah,
No transfer window at this level, so are you constantly winning and dealing?
yeah, always. You know, like I said to many people, I've been blessed to have worked at some fantastic football clubs. You know, Luton, Dagenham, Maidstone, now Dulwich. You've got to have your eyes and ears open at every opportunity, and it's no different. And at this level, there's some really good players, and you know, I'm probably known for picking up players and moving them on, so always looking.
And you played for some pretty good clubs as well.
Of course,
Wycombe Wanderers.
Wycombe Wanderers,
Can
yeah.
you believe it's 30 years nearly since you pinged that goal in at Preston?
I can't believe it, to be honest. I'm in a group chat with the lads, but I don't really anticipate that much, and I'm so desperate to get down there to watch a game, but obviously because I'm working as well, doing what I'm doing, and you know, with Dulwich and wherever I've been, even last season when I was at Maidstone, it was difficult to get down. I truly loved the club. I had some fantastic memories there. You know, sometimes I flick through the pages of some stuff that I've got on, and my missus goes to me, "Cool, was that you?" And I'm saying, "Yeah, it was." Yeah, it's just a great club. It's a fantastic football club, and I really, truly wish them all the best.
Now, we bumped into each other in central London a few years ago. Back then, I think your goal against Preston was about 55 yards and counting. How far is it now? We're in 2024. How far is it now?
It was a pitch like this, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. It's, that game, I've got some strong memories of that game. The gaffer at the time, Martin O'Neill, he was kept upstairs by somebody, and at the end of the session, we just did some shooting, and I think I just picked up from there. And that when Timmy Langford just played that pass to me right at the death there, I thought, I'm going to shoot. I think the aim was maybe if it goes in or we waste a bit of time, but I caught it just right, and we fully deserved our victory. I remember before the game, you know, the gaffer said to us, don't drink the tea, and then we went outside and every corner had sand pits on it, and he made us get the sand off, and you know, it was an intense game with two teams that are fighting to get out. I think David Moyes was playing for Preston and Ainsworth was playing for Preston. I also remember that Gareth Ainsworth had a mask on. Yeah, I think he had a fractured cheekbone, a bit of an altercation with him, and I pulled his mask and I let it go. That's how badly we wanted to win, and we did. And that was probably the best team that I've played for in terms of characters and personalities, and long will them memories live me for forever.
30 years ago, but you remember it as if it was like yesterday.
Yeah, I do, because these are the things that that stay with you, don't they? Memories like that, because they don't come around, and how blessed and lucky we were to be one, professional footballers, and for two, for playing for a fantastic football club like Wycombe. Not everybody gets that opportunity, and you know, sometimes when I talk about it, when people say to me, what's your best memory? Wycombe Wanderers, not even Barnet, Wycombe Wanderers.
Well, Hax, you're always welcome at Adams Park. Whenever you get the chance, we'll love to see you down there.
Cheers, mate. Look forward to it.
And back to today. Is someone going to pop a 45-yarder in today?
I'm waiting. I've got my eye on someone. Let's see.
Substitution for Haringey Borough. Player coming off. Number 9, Mikey McLeod. And player going on. Number 15, Kasim Aidu.
It's a gift from the gods, children receive. It's a gift from the gods, we say. It's a gift from the gods, children receive. It's a gift to the Haringey.
Full time here at Coles Park. It's finished. Haringey Borough 0, Folkestone Invicta 0. Not a great game. The keeper having to do too much. Haringey, a much better team in the second half. Best player on the pitch for them, George Aresti, the number 8. Got real quality on the ball. However, a 0-0 draw, no good for Haringey, still rooted in the bottom 4. And Folkestone Invicta unable to pull away from the bottom 4 further with a goalless draw today too. Decent crowd, good atmosphere, Baltic weather, but well worth coming out and supporting your local non-league sides when you can't get to see your own teams play because of the weather. All right, I'm going inside for a bovril. Right then, it's till death us do part. Your football club is like a marriage. You choose the club and you are with them for the rest of your life, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, no matter what division, etc, etc. And this week, I've been looking forward to this one. It's Wycombe Wanderers fan, Darren Keeping. Darren, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's pretty cold up here in Glasgow, but I've got a few days off work and life's been treating me very well.
Good stuff. So up in Glasgow, now we must talk to you about Wishaw Wycombe Wanderers, because it was an email from your good self to me, well, pre-pandemic, maybe 5 years ago.
5.5 years ago.
Yeah, that alerted me to the existence of Wishaw Wycombe Wanderers. How did you find out about them?
Well, I'm one of those old guys who grew up with Wycombe Wanderers at Lokes Park in the non-league scene. And obviously, you know, the Isthmian League had a great tradition of amateurism. I think it was at Wycombe until the mid-70s. And Scotland's football scene is different to England. There's actually 4 football associations, and I'd worked my way through 2 of them. I'd taken an interest in the third one, which for me was the Amateur Football Association. And quite literally, I was looking at one of the amateur football associations that operates in southwest Scotland, thinking, well, I wonder what their fixtures are like. I'll have to have a look at this. And like about the second team in the league that week was Wycombe Wanderers. And there's been a few anomalies like that down the years. I know there's been an Albion Rovers in Wales, and I think there was a like Richmond Wraith Rovers of all things once upon a time in Liverpool. But I was just like, well, this is like the most flattering thing I've ever seen in the history of Wycombe Wanderers. So I dropped Alex an email, or I dropped the email address that turned out to be Alex, and it went from there. And then about 6 months later, I'm sat in a bar somewhere in Renfrewshire with with Pete Cohig handing them a signed shirt, and there's my picture on the Daily Record website, which I wasn't expecting at all. But they're great people. They've got about 17 teams, and they're doing it for the right reason.
Yeah, it's a brilliant club, and since your email, we've been able to make good links with them, which is all down to you, mate. So thank you very much.
Well, that's very flattering, but I think really it's down to Alex and all those people. They're the ones who do the hard work.
Yeah, he's a good guy, Alex. And you're wearing your Wycombe Wanderers anniversary shirt, which is actually in our colours. Is there a change kit this season?
It is. I mean, I think their home colours are unfortunately got a bit too much yellow in it for somebody with my fondness for Oxford United. This is the pinnacle of good taste.
So let's go back to the original Wycombe Wanderers. When was your first involvement with the great Chairboys?
It would have been August 1984, and it was a pre-season friendly against Crystal Palace.
Wow.
I've got the time and date written down somewhere if you want it. I grew up in Prince's Risborough, and I went to school in Aylesbury. So the last thing I wanted to do was go to Aylesbury on a Saturday.
What were your memories of Lokes Park?
My memories of Lokes Park are like everything from my teenage years. I absolutely adored the flipping place. I really, really did, and I miss it massively. I can't help it. I'm one of those fans. Yeah, the ball hitting my mate in the face, the disgusting toilets, the 30p hot dogs, the slope, the cowshed, the beautiful wooden stand bin on the pitch after they won the Isthmian League Cup, Stanley Rouse being there, the inaugural fight basically against Colchester, and me and my mate going down the other end of the pitch and hiding. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely loved the place. For me, a Saturday in my teenage years was you'd get the train into Wycombe. I'd go to Scorpion Records. If by any chance Jeff is in Chinner and listening to this, hi Jeff. Buy a few records, and I'd be in the cowshed stood next to Simon, and sometimes Julian would be there and all. And that little guy with a moustache would take the mick out of my flask of tea, me apple, and my bag of dodgy records.
Fantastic.
And that was what I did for my teenage years. It wasn't very rock and roll, but I flipping loved it.
Scorpion Records was a wonderful place as well.
I've still got the couple of Scorpion Records bags here, and behind me there's probably several hundred dodgy records bought from there. If Julian and Simon are listening to this, yeah, I probably have still got Nosferatu there, and yes, it's still flipping awful. I really enjoyed that place. But all my family was from High Wycombe. They're all still there. So you'd go and watch the football, and then I'd end up at my auntie's house having a sandwich waiting for the train home.
Brilliant. Right, let's start off then. Something old, your favourite ever Wycombe Wanderers memory?
Well, I'm under strict instructions from Simon to mention this, and to be fair, it's exactly what I'd have said anyway. But Big Simon, he wouldn't have let me offer another Wycombe Wanderers memory, and I can't believe this hasn't gone down in the club folklore more than it has. But it was the 30th of April, 1986. We're at the bottom of the Goaler League. Were you there yourself?
No, I didn't. My first season was 87.
Oh, right.
January 87 was my first game.
All right. So 30th of April, 1980. Well, you missed a treat here. 30th of April, 1986. Struggling at the bottom of the Goaler League. 544 people. Wycombe versus Altrincham. And it's 0-0. And at the 79th minute, a player called Graham Pearce, who I'd love to hear his story. He was at the hospital end of the ground, and he lobbed Gary Lester from 30 yards to score the most beautiful home goal I've ever seen in my life. And I can still remember me and Simon, the 542 other people, standing there in stunned silence as this ball just went in a beautiful arc and nestled in our goal. and it got Wycombe Wanderers relegated for the first time in their history because
Wow.
we went down. And if we'd have drawn that day, we'd have stayed up. If you look at the league table, but that own goal, we were relegated, and I can't believe it hasn't gone down in folklore more.
No. And this is the first time we've had a memory here. We've obviously had a lot of memories attached to the glory times of Wycombe Wanderers, and thankfully there's been quite a few of those. This is the first time we've had a memory that's seen us relegated. But I'm now intrigued to see the glorious nature of this goal, because as a fan of the Danny Baker's own goals and gaffs videos of around that time, I'm sure it would have featured had it been a bit higher up the pyramid.
Yeah, I don't really know if anybody would have had a huge Sony video camcorder at Oaks Park in 1986. But yeah, I mean, me and Rumble still talk about it. I mean, I think he was getting pressured by one of the Altrincham attackers, and he panicked a little bit, and he just completely lobbed it over Gary Lester, who, God rest his soul, was a brilliant goalie.
Yeah.
And it went, scored this fantastic own goal. I still remember it clear as day. Hospital End, Wednesday evening, 1986. And if you check the league table, if we'd have got one more point that season, we'd have stayed up.
Wow.
And
there we are.
And unless I'm really mistaken, he went on and got player of the season at the end of it. There's somewhere I've still got the centenary brochure. That was back when the centenary was considered 1985 and not 1987. That's my greatest memory. It's connected to Oaks Park, I'll admit that.
Yeah.
But it was just such a sliding doors moment. If he hadn't scored that own goal, what would have happened with Alan Gain and Jim Kelman and Peter Sotheby and Martin?
Exactly. It may all never have happened. It may have all been.
It was just one of those moments. It made such a big difference for such a one kick of the ball.
There we are. And you can remember, the best thing about football is you remember it implicitly who you were with, and you still talk about it to this day. That is what this is all about.
He mentioned it to me 2 days ago when I said I was doing this, and I knew he would. We're football fans. We're predictable.
Right then, something new. Your favourite player in the current squad?
Well, that's really flipping easy for me, because as you can tell from the accent, I spent 20 years of my life living in Aberdeen. And although I live in Glasgow now, I went to university in Aberdeen in the late 80s. And so I loved it when you had Jack Grimmer on there.
Oh, yeah.
Loads of my friends are Don supporters, so they'd always talk to me about him. And when Anthony Stewart went to Aberdeen as well, they'd talk to me about that. So I'll have to say Anthony Stewart out of I'd have to say Jack Grimmer out of Aberdonian loyalty. When you and Jack were talking about the Walker's shortbread factory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my pal knows Mrs. Walker. She's going to ask if you're allowed to visit.
Oh well, absolutely. We're well up for that. Jack the Snack, as he's now been referred to.
Has he never bought you any fine Aberdonian baked goods?
Well, I don't think he has, but I don't think it was actually him. It's his mum or his sister. So tends to be doing a lot of the legwork in that side of things. But he did bring quite a lot of amazing shortbread, and also a lot of tunnocks. Tunnocks feature quite heavily.
Yeah, has he not bought you a Rowie or a Buttery?
Not yet. No, I'm going to get on to Jack after this. Definitely.
You got to find out if he says Rowie or Buttery.
Okay.
That's an Aberdeen croissant. They're absolutely more calories than a hand grenade. They're beautiful.
He's back on the pitch brilliantly and got the skipper's armbands on at the moment.
Plays fantastically.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, the only downside for me is that he's so great in the commentary box as well. But obviously, we prefer him out on the pitch. But
well, if he had too many Butteries, he'd be better in the commentary box than he was at the pitch. I promise you, they're an anchor for the soul. They really are.
But he's a great lad, isn't he, Jack? And he's one of our. Oh, I'd say he's definitely one of our generals now, because he's been there. Yeah. This is his 5th year, I think, with us.
Second longest now, isn't he, behind JJ?
Yes, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. So there we are. Right, Jack Grimmer, his first entry, unbelievably, into this feature.
It's Aberdonian loyalty. Good luck to him.
We go on now to something borrowed, which is either the best loanee that Wycombe Wanderers ever had, or the player you wish that we'd signed that we never did.
I had to think about this for a while, but the one I was going to go for, and I think I only saw the guy play once, was was going to go for. Has anybody else said Randall Williams?
No.
I just remember seeing him play against Northampton. It was a cup tie. It was a draw about 5 years ago. And I just thought the guy was a great entertainer. I think he did a backflip that day after he scored his goal.
Yeah, that was his signature move. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just thought he was great because, I like the fireworks. Football's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be entertained, So yeah, I was always sorry he didn't stay with us for a bit longer. I remember that game well for good and bad, for good and bad reasons. The penalty shootout more than anything. I mean, I can't sit here and claim to be a great football expert. I mean, I couldn't hit a barn door at 5 yards myself, but I just thought he was great. I thought he was an entertainer. I really liked him. I liked Jamal as well. I thought he was a good goalie.
Yeah, he's on the bench at Burton these days.
Yeah, I was quite surprised by that. I thought
Yeah.
he'd been in the championship by now.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I literally know nothing about football. I'm not sitting here claiming anything. But yeah, I thought he was a great goalie. But no, I'm going to go for Randall Williams.
Randall Williams, yeah. I think last time I saw he was at Bolton maybe, or he's maybe
Yeah,
moved
he
on
is at
somewhere
Bolton.
else.
I did check.
But not a regular. So,
Oh.
perhaps one day your dream may come true.
My dream may come true. Well, I liked him anyway.
Brilliant. Right then, on to something blue, which is your favourite piece of Wycombe Wanderers merchandise or idea for the club to feature a range in the shop.
I've got a couple of them. My original Lokes Park mug, slightly amateurishly made, wouldn't change it for anything.
Which you're drinking out of to this day, even during this interview, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I'm addicted to tea. Yeah, this will go back in the treasured possession cabinet as soon as I've spoken to you. What would I go to? You know what? There's a few things I'd really love. A, Tony Adams dartboard, but you might want to edit that out. B, I would love the club to employ a historian and do a new, professional historian and do a new updated Datchet Web 1885 complete history onwards, something really epic. Something to really engage with the local community, see what's in the lofts of High Wycombe relating to the history of this club. Because even, the gentleman who I grew up 2 doors away from was a guy called Reg Baldwin, and he scored 1 goal for High Wycombe. And I know he had some adventures in the Second World War, and there's got to be some stories out there, and I'd love to have seen them. I would love to have seen them compiled. Reg was an absolute gentleman, God rest his soul. I'd absolutely love that. I know it's not quite a piece of merchandise, but I think that would be fantastic. And then being more sensible, I'd just phone up Urkel and get some official Wycombe Wanderers chairs made.
Oh,
Urkel's still in Prince's Risborough.
Yeah,
they know how to make a Windsor frame chair.
JJ was presented with an Urkel love bench.
That couldn't possibly be where I got the idea from. And my mate works at Urkel.
But yeah, some Urkel Wycombe Wanderers furniture. I mean, I'd be down with that, definitely. I think that would be fantastic.
It would not be the cheapest piece of merchandise, but it's, a chair for the chairboy.
I picked up a nice set of Urkel. I've got an Urkel settee and a couple of chairs on eBay. And they desperately need recovering, but until my toddler's grown up, I'm not going to do it. But I did go on the Urkel website to have a look at their reupholstering costs and thought, yeah, maybe my boy's going to be about 35 by the time I get around to doing this. But I did think about having them in Wycombe colours. I
can tell you there's certainly more than one. There's Wycombe fans working at Urkel.
Well, Darren, it's been wonderful. You were nominated actually to do this by Christian Sturluson, our mutual friend in Iceland. And again, what a wonderful
I couldn't believe when you've had people from Denmark and people from Abu Dhabi and people from the north of Iceland on the show. I couldn't think why on earth you'd want somebody from Prince's Risborough, but there you go. Everybody has a different connection with the football club they support.
But who'd have thought that, when you were going down to Lokes Park in the mid-'80s, that a chap living in North Iceland would be connecting you with someone who could then get you on to talk about the club. I mean, what a wonderful club this is.
Well, it is. It's much better than a normal football club. I know that. But yeah, life's full of coincidences and strange occurrences. When Christian sat down next to Ken at Wembley and they got talking about what they did for a living, Ken Townsend.
Yeah.
Ken Townsend knows the Beatles historian, Mark Leveson, who wrote this book. That's volume 1.
Wow.
And I swapped a few emails with Mark Leveson, about a small, very tiny corner of Beatles history. Life's just full of coincidences and weird stuff, and the more it has, the better.
Fantastic.
Wycombe Wanderers has always been a good source of that.
It certainly has. Well, Darren, keep flying the flag up north of the border. Make sure you put your mug away. I don't want to be responsible for you breaking that, so put that away safely. Yeah, me too. Now after seeing it,
it'll be in the club museum in 10 years. Well, when I'm pushing up daisies up Bledlow Ridge, this will be in the club museum.
Darren, it's been a pleasure, and we'll hopefully see you at Adams Park soon.
Yeah, well, next game for me, Stephen, is your way.
Right, that's it all for this week's show. Many thanks to Hakan Hayrettin, Haringey Borough, and Darren Keeping. If you'd like to be the subject of Till Death Us Do Part, or you'd like to nominate / drop someone in it instead, drop an email to media@wwfc.com. Join us next time to hear if the Chairboys can reel in the Cod Army at Adams Park. Come on, you Blues.